Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Welcome everyone to the deep breath before the plunge, the calm before the storm, a contest between two titans who have dominated the women's game. In the blue corner, a team who currently reside upon the throne of supremacy, and in the red corner, the team looking to claim it back. This is more than just a football match. This is more than just about local pride. This is a fight to determine who truly reigns supreme, not just in the WSL, but in women's football as a whole. The trenches are dug, the battle lines are drawn. Welcome all to the Vic Akers Wonderland Arsenal versus Chelsea preview podcast. I'm Adam Salter, and my co-conspirators are live and ready to pick apart what's going to be the greatest game of the season so far. The magnificent Matt and the lovely Lottie. So, firstly, Lottie, how nervous are you about this game?
Do you know what? I've had so much going on today, and after the debacle I have just watched from the men, I'm sitting here thinking I won't be able to handle back-to-back losses with the amount of games I'm going to in the next 7 days. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm absolutely buzzing about the crowd numbers. I think the last time I looked, it was 57,000.
It's actually up to 58.
Wow.
Just confirm we're over
another
58.
record-breaking crowd, and it's I'm just absolutely really excited just to be back, mostly to see you guys and socialize, and because I know it's a game, I know the game's there and we're all excited to go, but it's this to match day, there's so much more to it other than just the football. As much as I love the football and that's what we're there for, there's so much more to it, and it's exciting. It's like there's gonna be so many people, it's gonna be busy. Hopefully the weather will be all right.
Well, yeah. No, well, we'll get on to that. Even the weather. Like I said, along with the lovely Lottie, is the magnificent Matt. Matt, in a rare change of form, you're coming to this one. You're coming down from the heavens, from the Wirral, to watch the game with us, and we can't wait. So, are you as excited as we are?
You say that like it's a bad thing. And
it's a great thing. We're going to be gracious with your parents.
It's home game and everything. I do apologise.
This is like when the gods come down from Olympus. You know, you are coming down to see a game with us. It doesn't happen often, and it's.
God, you're casting that line,
aren't you? It's
just
really
stop winding him up.
It's really nice to actually be coming to home games for a change.
Yes.
Getting the home package has been probably one of the best things that Arsenal have been able to put out. Hopefully we get to see more of that in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually the WSL games do all end up at the Emirates, that they do that home package again.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, essentially there's only a couple more games left. It's this one, Tottenham and United.
Tottenham, and that's it. We're done.
Well, this year, but I mean at the Emirates. Tottenham are playing us twice at the Emirates.
Yes.
Unless we got an FA Cup game or something that nobody's told us about.
Yep. So Man United at home, and then Spurs at home a bit afterwards, and then we're done, which is a shame. But it's been a good.
It's
you
nice.
Never know. There might be more matches there.
Never know.
It's nice to do that though, because I've one reason or another, I haven't been able to go to Bristol away. I haven't been able to go to Man United away. I haven't been able to. Well, obviously, I don't go down to Brighton. It's too far for me to travel, which is a bit of a shame.
Southampton,
but I did Southampton. So Southampton first away game of the season. But there'll be a couple of usual ones that I'll go to. Leicester away was the other one that I completely usually go to. But again, it's the fact that the TV schedule has made it a bit more conflicting, but it's been a bit more kind in general. Let's just say that.
Well, this one's a 12:30 kickoff, so I think we're all. Thank God it's not on 18:45. Put it that way. Before we begin, just a quick question for the pair.
Because it's in London, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Put it that way.
Well,
especially for me.
That is true.
Yeah, it'd just be worse for people travelling back.
Exactly.
True.
So before we begin, just a quick question for the pair of you. For me, this is, I've said it with other games, but for me, this is a game that we can't enjoy. This is a game that we're going to endure rather than enjoy because of what the stakes and because of how stressful it is. So a question for the pair of you, what is the game that you have least enjoyed going to, or least look forward to going to? There's a game you've dreading or resenting, because normally with a game, we're all happy and great to go, but there's always the one game you just think,
It's got to be any time we play Chelsea.
Anytime I play Chelsea?
Apart from that first game where I first watched
Well,
back to back.
Back to back, yeah, that was quite good.
Yeah, I've won another one of those, but
Mm.
Emma Hayes is going to do what Emma Hayes does best. Let's put it that way.
For me, it's the Conti Cup final. Just the nerves I felt going into that game, because after, especially what happened with the previous cup final we all went to.
Chelsea.
Absolutely, it's a Chelsea game. Matt, do you have maybe one, or maybe one that's not Chelsea related at all? I don't know, Man United, Liverpool, Everton. You've been to a few Everton games. I mean, is there one that you just want?
No. I mean, I don't really tend to get that nervous around these sorts of games. It's only when you're slowly getting towards the end of these sort of games, and like last season, to be honest, we should have been out of the sight. It should have been 2-3-0, and we didn't put chances.
No,
Sam Kerr does what Sam Kerr does best against Arsenal, and scores and equalises. Arsenal don't have anything left in the locker, and it finishes 1-1.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those games you look back on and you think that could have helped us a little bit more. Those 2 points, extra 2 points, even because it was a draw. But yeah, I think the final, I think I was a little bit nervy, but I think what helped a lot was that there was a fan park.
Yes, there was. Yeah,
getting to meet people beforehand, meeting Andreas and a couple of others around in the supporters club and everything, just to sort of, I think that helped calm the nerves a little bit, and going to the fan park especially helped, because if no one's seen it, there's a nice lovely picture that I've got of the cannon on one cheek, and I think it's little red and white strips on the other, and I think I've got something on my forehead as well. But yeah, it's
I think you ended up covering that up with your hat in the end.
Yeah, I think it was just about visible on my Arsenal hat. So.
Yeah, it got a bit cold, so.
Well, moving on to some of the news. Now, we did cover a lot of the news in our previous England pod. Do make sure to check that out. We went over both the Nations League games and some other bits and bobs of what it might mean for our future. But there has been some bit of news since, which I wanted to quickly touch on. And Lottie, you did mention this earlier. We're up to 58,000 tickets sold. I think, someone was saying we might even be, I think we're actually even over 58,000. I think there's about 1,500, 1,800, something like that still left. So they are still being sold. Do make sure, if you haven't got a ticket, do make sure you get one, because we'd love to get another Wolfsburg, another 60,000 in that stadium, because that'd be pretty magical. I'm going to come to you for this one, Matt. What would it mean for everyone if we could get 60,000? Could that, it's a game of fine margins. Is that something that could potentially swing the game our way if we have 60,000 in the stadium cheering the players on?
Yes, and also no. So the reason I'm saying no, just to be on that, is a lot of the fans that came to the Wolfsburg were not Arsenal fans. They were even neutrals, which I'm fine with, not a problem. It just means that there isn't that huge atmosphere as much as there has been, say, in certain areas. So you notice this season that, say, where I'm sitting, not a lot of people are singing in the same block there, but there'll be a couple of flags and banners and signs floating around. So it is kind of difficult to build that atmosphere when you're selling these sorts of things. But I think that getting that sort of attendance is great. I'm happy for the neutrals to come along. That's not a problem. I think if
as long as they don't support Chelsea, if they support Arsenal, we're all...
To be fair, I've been in Arsenal Arsenal Legends games, and people come in with Man United shirts and all sorts, and you thought I was just horrible. But anyway, the whole, if you could get 60,000, that's huge, not just for us as a team, because it means that in the future you look at other other teams that might come to the Emirates next season. Let's say the likes of Southampton get promoted. Let's say West Ham aren't there anymore, so they drop down. But say get them in an FA Cup, they might go FA Cup game. Do you want to try and get it at the Emirates? It's an option.
That will be the next thing, wouldn't it? If once we get all the WSL games in, there'll be FA Cup games, but it's going to take a while, and we will do the European games in there as well. It just shows how it is becoming more feasible to move to the Emirates. It's going to take a few more years. We know the contract with Meadow Park. It's got a few more years to run. Be interesting to see how many games get allocated next season. But we still got 2 more games to go, and hopefully we can get, if not 60,000, close to 60,000, 40 to 50,000 in both the other games. And it's interesting that Arsenal haven't really heavily advertised this game, and it's still drawn in a huge amount of tickets sold at least. We'll be interested to see how it translates to attendance. The other news
thing is, it's a case of you've been doing their job for them.
Well, you say that. I haven't, because I sort of weaned off the whole screenshot thing until like the very end, just to give it the final push. But a lot of the work has been done. I haven't had to do it from day one. Last season, yeah, absolutely, from day one. Yep, screenshotting. Here's the but you don't have to, and it's working great. So fantastic. Less work for me to do.
It's so easy to reel in.
Yeah, the other news, and this, it's slightly sadder news, unfortunately, with this game. There have been comments made by an ex-player who shall remain unnamed about women in football, in the media, which I think are just repulsive and just insane. So I don't want to focus too much on them, but I wanted to talk more positively about some of our favourite female pundits, presenters, commentators, writers, and give them a shout out. So I was going to come to you with this on Lottie first. Is there a particular writer, commentator, presenter that you think deserves a shout out for the great work they're doing in football?
No, yeah. What's her name? I can't pronounce her name. She's a commentator.
Minstein?
Her dad used to play football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pierre Minstein. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Pierre. She's one of my favourite commentators. Okay, and she knows the players, she knows the numbers, she knows her stuff. And then you get people like, I hate to keep going back to last season, but Hope Howell. I don't know who that player is, and she's sitting there telling her who it is. And there's no non-bias towards Arsenal or anyone. She's the neutral one that knows the players, knows exactly what's going on, and there's going to be no problems. But there's always an idiot sitting next to her
in the stands.
That's my biggest gripe.
Yeah. I want to give
her commentator is occasionally an idiot.
Sadly so. My shout out is Vicky Sparks, who does a lot of commentating for the BBC, and during the Euro, she was on the radio, and she really gets that passion across. Robin Cowan is great on the BBC on the TV coverage, just saying that. But I do enjoy hearing because all the Euro commentaries on YouTube, if you can find where they are, they're fantastic. And Vicky Sparks is the one doing the commentary, and it sounds fantastic. Really gets the passion across. And radio commentary is obviously slightly different to TV because you're having to describe more because you obviously haven't got the visuals. And no, I think she's a fantastic commentator. Matt, do you have a particular favourite presenter, pundit, writer, commentator who's doing great work who you want to give a shout out to?
Unfortunately, I've forgotten her name. She's a writer that was part of her football hub. She does brilliant work. She does it as a job, and unfortunately, she got redundant but from I think it was Vavel decided to open up women's football, and she did a really brilliant job. She was her writing. Actually, was it for Vavel? I don't think it was Vavel. I think it was goal.com.
Right.
But yeah, she did fantastic. There's fantastic people in her football hub who are just starting out on their journey as writers, as journalists, and they're doing fantastic work. Amanda Zaza is a fantastic journalist as well. The Swedish soprano. Does that make sense? She's fantastic with those sort of things. So if you wanted to know anything about Swedish football, she's on it. So if Arsenal get linked with Swedish players X, Y, Z, she's the one to talk to. We've got a huge amount of. I think it goes without saying that we've got the usual people, but we'll just say a little bit of a huge shout out to Jodie Taylor, who made her first appearance as a pundit on Sky Sports today.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, yes, but I think she's because she was on. She was at Wembley. I think I recall she was on Wembley recently. I think she might have even been on the women's football show the weekend before as well. Great to see that. I mean, she got a job at Arsenal, doing good work behind the scenes. But it's good to see that she's made a smooth transition from playing to punditry, because it's not everybody can do it, as we've seen with some of the male pundits. But she seems to have made that transition very, very well. I want to have a quick shout out in terms of a writing front to Katie Wyatt from The Athletic, who does a lot of really, really good written work. I think she's been very public about some of the things she's struggled with away from writing, and I just think that makes the work she does even more amazing. So I want to give her a massive shout out. And I should also say that I would not be doing writing and blogging and stuff and had the progression I've had if she hadn't given me a few pointers on Twitter, which I will forever be grateful for. Just how to get a blog set up, because I would have been clueless otherwise. Before I move on, I did want to come to you, Lottie. We did mention this before we went on, because one of the things they talk about, or has been talked about, because Emma Hayes had a press conference, and one of the things she spoke about is the male privilege in society, and especially in football, and had some really good comments made in there that's gone around and talks of evolve or die and things like that, and Darwinism, and the fact that men don't understand the privilege that they have. I think there's an element of they take it for granted, and obviously I wanted to get your opinion, perspective on maybe how that's affected you in football and maybe beyond. What was your stance on it?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with Emma Hayes, but I'm backing her all the way. If you listen to this podcast regularly, I am not a fan at all. And for me to be agreeing with what she said in this 2-3 minute clip, from what I've seen, is absolutely massive. As a podcaster, I've had it on like YouTube Live, when I've gone on other channels. I think it was last year I was on a Newcastle Arsenal preview. We were away. I was invited on because I'm the Arsenal fan. I know what I'm talking about. And it was a case of someone turning around and said, really don't like you. All you've got is Arsenal-based opinions on a Newcastle preview. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, I'm the away team. What are you talking about? And what I did appreciate is my friend of the podcast, John, he turned around and stopped the show there and then and addressed it, told him it was not acceptable. This is a Newcastle and Arsenal preview. And nobody else had any problems, but this person, it just decided to put their toxicity into the point. There's also the case of you get people on Twitter, they see who posts the tweet, and they're all of a sudden they see that you're female, they'll jump on it. And it's as Emma Hayes described, as is this pylon culture, and it's where it's privilege and thinking, oh, you're a woman, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's all because of what's happened back before the 70s. This is why we're in the situation today, and there's so many, without being rude, dinosaurs out there that just can't get their head around it. And if it wasn't for people like Laura Woods, and Alex Scott and Karen Carney and a few others, we wouldn't be seeing this progress that we're seeing at the moment. We wouldn't be seeing the likes of Ellen White or Jodie Taylor where they are now. But if they keep having systematic misogyny is difficult, and you have to face that every day as a woman when you come into football. And breaking those barriers is so important, so we can keep growing our game. Yes, we've got a lot of male managers and a lot of male coaches in and around the game, but how are we supposed to inspire the future generation for women, like whether they're players, coaches, managers coming through? How do we inspire that if all you see is men in that position? And it's not because I don't like men doing stuff. I've got absolutely no problem with it. But it's a case of it's a very men orientated world, and it needs to change. And if you look across the sports now, football's the only one that's got the problem with it.
One of the things I wanted to touch on with that actually is one of the comments that this person made, and was trying to I want to say militarize this whole concept, and they're talking about it being an attack on white middle-aged English men, and I think Yes, and quite rightly so. Because for too long, that has been the only pool that there's been fished from for people to move from A to B. If you were a white middle-aged man who had just been playing football, you could walk into a TV studio having no qualifications, no knowledge of football, but because you may have scored a goal in a game once, you qualified as a pundit. You didn't have to do the hard work in. But now they have rightly expanded the pool and brought in better people who are on, whether it be with women, whether it be people of colour, etc. You've got better people coming in.
Me most is like people like Alex Scott, for example. She's got her degree in journalism. She knows what she's doing. And
Absolutely.
then you've got, I think everybody knows who we're talking about. But then you've got idiots like him, coming in and saying stuff like that. He is. People like him, and like I don't want to put Jermaine Jonas in this bracket.
No.
Jermaine Jonas is not a good pundit.
No.
He is absolutely pants. And I'll be honest with you, was it he was doing the Euros for the women's Euros?
Potentially.
Every time he was on, I was watching it on mute. I could not cope with him because he'd come up with such stupidity. He didn't have like the research, the kind of level that I call it Peter Drury level because he's so good.
Yes.
He didn't have that level. And you've noticed it different, like the difference majorly between the two commentators and
Sam Matterface was another one. Sam Matterface was another one when he was commentating.
I didn't want to mention him because I can't stand him. I can't listen to him as a whole for either commentary.
Yeah.
So I can't even go there with him. But he kind of he's got a bit more effort than say the likes of Jermaine Jonas and
my feeling is
Martin.
but the thing with that is I think is that they see it as a tap because nowadays you can't just pardon my French, half-arse it. You have people like the Alex Scotts who've done the degrees, they've worked hard and they do their research, they know their onions and they're coming in. And
she
too
was
many
alongside playing for the Arsenal.
Absolutely.
That's what's mad about it.
Absolutely. And too many men who didn't have to do that because they could just, because they were white male privilege, could just walk into it, are suddenly finding themselves out of, they're being outmaneuvered by better people coming in. And
Absolutely.
it's rather than
cultures change, things are changing, and it's again excuse the Emma Hayes / Darwinism. It's evolve or die. And if you don't like it, suck it up and move on.
Absolutely. You can either better yourself and make yourself.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you can either better yourself or you can just scream at the clouds and say, no, it's not the fact that, they're better than me. It's a conspiracy because I'm better because I'm a man. And so that is just nonsense. But because they're so egotistical men who've had it all right for years, they can't accept it, and it's sad. But I want to say a shout out to all the women we've mentioned and plenty more. We could list off so many, but we have got to move this podcast onto Arsenal versus Chelsea,
Just
which we're going to do.
Then, just on that, do you look at someone that on the other side of that, Stephen Warnock is doing quite a lot with Sue Smith now. Whether it's a bit odd that he's now sort of transitioned into the women's game, but
it's good.
At least he knows what he's talking about. It's like
Ian Wright, another one. Massive shout out. We should say Ian Wright as well. Stephen Warnock did a lot of co-coms with Izzy Christensen on the Euros. He's definitely committed to that, and that's really good to see because it works both ways. It's great to have women on doing the men's football. It's great to have men doing the women's football, and not just doing the women's football, knowing the game as well. Massive shout out to Ian Wright, just the biggest hero of them all, quite frankly.
And the biggest Arsenal fan, I think.
Biggest Arsenal fan.
Number one spot for the women's fans, anyway.
Absolutely. So let's just move on. Let's move our ship, our good ship Arsenal, a good ship podcast to the Arsenal versus Chelsea preview. I'm going to have a little mini pop quiz. I want to see how much you know about Arsenal's history going into this game in terms of results. So obviously,
Matt, you have the trophy now.
Lottie, you were obviously there for when we beat them 3-2 in 2021, I believe, 21 the Emirates Stadium. Great day out. Before then, when was the last time? Give me a year. When was the last time they won a home game against Chelsea? Before that game, give me have a throw a dart at a year and see how close you can get.
The first game that comes into my head, but that's at Kings Meadow.
Home game.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to think. Hang on. 2018.
No, earlier than that. Much earlier than that. Matt, do you have a go?
I was gonna think that it was around 2015.
2013 it was.
Who's the
Yes.
closest?
Yeah,
Woo!
Lottie won that one. So I want to see in these overall home and away, Matt. Has there been more Arsenal wins, Chelsea wins, or draws
Since when?
since the start of the WSL?
Right, okay,
WSL
so
League games. There have been. Well, that's another question, but very quickly, has there been more Arsenal wins, Chelsea wins, or draws? What do you reckon?
So WSL started in early 2000s. Oh,
2011 actually, but we'll gloss over that.
early 2010s. Yeah,
Chelsea days, yeah, okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you're talking about over 10 years. Well, I'll say Arsenal because I know Chelsea have been on a bit of a run in previous years, but
Yeah.
Arsenal had that huge advantage because Chelsea were just bringing themselves into it.
So there have been 25 games home between them. The reason it's an odd number is because there's only one game in the spring series, and that was actually away at Chelsea. There have been 6 draws, 10 Arsenal wins. Sorry, 10 Chelsea wins, but only 9 Arsenal wins. So sadly, on this arm wrestle, Chelsea have just nudged ahead. But we're hoping to change that. In 2014, who scored their first league goal for Arsenal in this fixture? They still play for the club. No takers.
Look at
No?
me, I
I'm
don't know.
I'm gonna give it a guess.
Go on, Matt.
I'll say Kim Little.
No, it was Leah Williamson. She scored her first goal for Arsenal
Oh,
in the
wow.
fixture. A nice chip over the keeper. Sadly, we lost the game 3-2. And the reason I say that is if you're watching Football Focus, you would have seen that Leah Williamson has learned to play the piano and has done a wonderful piece with BBC Sport. I think it's called Out of Office. And there's a series on YouTube covering sports people doing things out of the comfort zone. And she has performed with, I think it's the BBC Symphony Orchestra or something like that, and performed a beautiful Shania Twain piece. Do check it out. It's firstly she nails it as we would expect, but it's really good to see, and obviously we hope to see her back playing for the Arsenal soon. So quick news on the about the game in case you weren't already aware. For Arsenal, Jonas has confirmed apart from Lena Hurtig, all players are fit and ready to go. On Chelsea, yeah, no, sadly Lena Hurtig was injured during.
I'm sorry, I'm gutted for her.
Yeah, absolutely, she just can't catch a break.
Confidence is back through the roof, and
Absolutely.
this has happened.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We were hoping
it
this
does
just
feel bad for her because every time she gets a couple of games, that's it. Something happens, whether it's toe or twist of an ankle or whatever, and it keeps her out for a
said
while.
what it is?
No, I just said it was a knock picked up in international duty. I can't remember if it's Switzerland or Spain she was playing, but she got injured, sadly.
Was it subbed at half time as well? So it could be a muscle tear or something.
I was hoping this was going to be
strain and not a tear. Tear means longer time out.
I was hoping this was going to be her, big season. Lost last season due to injury. She obviously scored in Europe, scored away at Leicester, and back in the treatment table. But hopefully it is a
still time. We're almost
time.
at the halfway point. We're not there. Got the winter break.
Yeah.
She might be back in the new year.
And we're not short of options. We're not short of options. We have got.
I know that, but I like to see her get some minutes. I just feel bad for her.
She deserves better. But all of us here hoping her to make a quick recovery. If she's fit for Tottenham, even better. But if not, we'll hopefully see her in the new year where she'll be fit and fighting. On the Blues and McCabe and so on. On the blue side of London, or the boo side of London, as I tend to call them. Sorry, that was terrible. Emma Hayes has confirmed that Gua Wrighton and Melanie Leopolds are back in training. Yeah, but Millie Bright is still out, as is I believe it's Kankovic is out as well. So yes, Sam Kerr is an unknown at the moment. So this is an interesting aspect.
She's fine. Don't give me unknown. She's fine.
Well,
I don't trust her. When games like this come along, I do not trust Emma Hayes. But I will be shocked if she is not there tomorrow, and I will be so happy.
It's interesting that both Chelsea and Arsenal don't have their best defenders available to them. We don't have Leah Williamson, they don't have Millie Bright. So as concerned as I might be about our back line, all of a sudden maybe there's something there, but we'll see.
Right,
Matt,
I was going to say about Nguyen. She got injured during the Netherlands under-23 match, and I think it was an MCL she ended up with.
I was hearing ACL.
Actually. MCL. One or the other.
Yeah,
I think
that was that didn't come up in the press conference, but that had been made.
Emma Hayes won't mention that. She's tight-lipped on them kind of injuries.
It was made public. It was made public on their Twitter account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
If
way
Sam
before.
Kerr isn't 100%, I imagine she's going to be on the bench, which I would imagine that means Lauren James would move further up the pitch, and Fran Kirby plays
this
as
is what we're
return.
going to do. We're jumping ahead. This is what we're going to get to.
Oh, okay.
But with Sam Kerr, they've been managing a foot injury she's had, but I think Matt's right. If she doesn't start, she's coming off the bench. I can't see her missing this game. A game of this magnitude, I can't see her missing out. Little interesting bit about their run of form. Both teams have actually won their last 6 WSL games. And the last time neither of them won were both in draws in Manchester, where they both scored last-minute equalisers. So curiously, there's been a sort of a mirroring of the two teams going forward.
But has Chelsea lost at all this season?
Sadly, not. That's the one thing. Unfortunately, the difference.
Well, if the stars want to align, this is the ideal time for them to lose.
Absolutely, this is
our own. Chelsea. Oh, sorry, guys, my power just went there.
Oh no, that's a shocking turn of events, but hopefully we got you back.
Yeah. To the audio listeners, my power just all flashed. I'm so sorry.
Yes, the only difference between our two teams are, of course, we fumbled it at home to Liverpool opening day of the season, and that is the difference between the two sides, sadly. But we are better since then. We have grown. Our big players, new players are integrating the team, so we've got a better chance. So, firstly, Arsenal. Matt, we'll start with you. Defence. How do you think we can line up?
I wouldn't be surprised if we decide to opt for a back 3 in this one.
Ooh.
And the only reason I'm saying this is because effectively Chelsea are going to have Kirby, Wrighton, James, and I can't remember. There's a couple of other ones in there that people probably throw at me.
Fleming.
Either way, they've got plenty of attack power.
Yeah,
and it would make sense to go 3-5-2 or 3-6-1.
3-6-1. Wow, that is really really clogging up the midfield.
Well, the alternative is you go 4-6-0 or 6-4-0. But we don't have enough central defenders for that to work.
There was a Scotland manager who memorably did that and was rightfully slated for it. In a 1-1 draw, I think it was. So you think we're going to go defensive? You think we'll
go defensive. I have a feeling Lottie. Sorry.
Ding.
It again. Oh dear, that's your fault. That you started it. Lotta will start as a centre back. I'd probably imagine Steph will also be there alongside Amanda, and then we see Katie move to wing back. Noel Moritz also as a wing back. In that midfield, I imagine Caitlin's going to start alongside Beth. Then that probably means who's pivot. I think this is where it's going to be an issue.
We'll come back to the midfield in a bit. We're just going to focus on defence for now, and then we'll move on to the midfield, because I wanted to come to you for this one, Lottie, providing the power stays on long enough. Because my thought was maybe a back 4, but if you play a back 4, you pretty much got to choose between Noel Maritz and Katie McCabe at right back. Who would you pick?
Katie.
Katie
McCabe, and then I'd bring on Noel. Once the goals have gone in and up.
Well, once we're 5-0 up, we'll bring Maritz on and hold down for the win.
Well, when we're ahead, bring Maritz on in during the second half for me, because she's going to be that fresh legs. That's going to be the difference between, no disrespect to Kate, between us conceding or not.
Yes.
I feel. So yeah, Katie McCabe all the way.
My thing, I mean, we want to have Katie McCabe in the team at all costs because she's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the two. If we're playing a back 4, and we have been playing a back 4 the last few games, I do get Matt's idea of playing a back 3, and I think there is the potential for it. My feeling is we played a back 3 against Liverpool. I still have nightmares over that.
This is not the game to test that in. Full stop.
Yeah, I feel we've got to.
Every time that we play this team and we play Emma Hayes, she is baying for blood. She has not forgotten Jonas's celebration.
Absolutely.
Chelsea are playing a back 3 all the time, though.
They do play back 3. That's the thing.
It kind of makes sense to replicate what they do.
They've been playing longer together than what we've got.
Yeah. Chelsea
yes,
can't.
We've got the core relationships, but the new people in that team do not have that yet. There's still work to be built on. Although it's slowly clicking, there's still work to be done as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Jonas is trying to build a back four with Lottie and Amanda, and as it is getting better as the season progresses, and there's element of that if you switch to a back three, you suddenly lose a bit of that because they've gotten used to that memory muscle of there being in the back four. I wouldn't be surprised. I think there is the potential for the back three. I wouldn't begrudge because I can understand the idea of they've got a lot of threat. We need to counter that. There is also the argument of you are playing at the Emirates Stadium against Chelsea, you're the home team, and I don't want to go down the Mark Skinner route of, well, we're at home, we have to attack, but it's not very good if you're being out, if you're being defensive team and they're swarming on you, and it's the home game. And I think back time and time again, which again that probably ended Joe Montemiro's career at Arsenal. We had a home game against Chelsea. We were top of the league. Chelsea came and we set up appallingly. Just our shape was off. I think we've gone for a crazy. If you look at the BBC website, it shows the formation. It's insane. We had a back three. Jonas got the team. Joe Montemiro got the team horrifically wrong, and we got battered 4-1. And that was in Meadow Park, and it was just before lockdown. It was a really, really bad result. And Joe said afterwards, "Yeah, we got the team wrong, got the setup wrong," and that is why this decision is so crucial. I think there is, but the problem is, with McCabe is if you want to play her, she's obviously a left back, left winger, but we're not. I can't see us ditching Ford and Catley because the axis is that left wing axis is so logical and works so well, and it's such a threat. You play her the right back, you keep her. But then you lose a bit of defence. I think she's weaker defensively on the right, and then we saw that against Leicester when they got down that flank too many times. So it's a conundrum for Jonas. I would put McCabe on the bench. I will start Moritz, but I think McCabe would be a very good option off the bench, which I think we would use in attack later in the game. And I think this is again back to that mindset of starters and finishers. We're going to have a lot of really good players and players that we do like and think should start on the bench, and the reason that is the case is we've got so many good players, especially in attack. And so this idea that a player on the bench is some kind of shun or insult, that's not the case. So I think McCabe as a finish off the bench would be a really good option, but who knows with these sort of things. Moving on to the midfield, and it's another it's another mind struggle, because for years and years and years and years and years, you could probably go back to when we were playing in 1999, if an old FA Cup team sheet, it would show Kim Little and Leah Velti as the two midfield pivot, because that's how long they've been in the team, it feels at times. But that has always been Kim Little, Leah Velti, that's our midfield pivot. We'll go, it picks itself. Not anymore.
Absolutely
not anymore. So we have four. It's like when they do the street fighter thing. You choose your warrior. So you have got of all the four, you've got Victoria Pelova, Cara Cooney-Cross, Leah Velti and Kim Little, with the asterisk that Velti and Little haven't started a game, I think probably since the Man City game, I want to say. I think since they came off the bench, didn't they, against West Ham late on, so they have had a bit of a kickabout. Of those four, Lottie, going to come to you first. Who are you starting to?
I'm going to upset Matt and go with Victoria Pelova and Cara Cooney-Cross. I'm sorry. Their form is just absolutely brilliant at the minute. Yeah, I'm sticking. I enjoy watching the pair of them them two. Could be a bit of favouritism with Cara Cooney-Cross, but
really,
no, I'm loving the combination of them two. Victoria Pelova, her game's just stepped up another level this season, and it's so exciting to see, because she's not this timid character anymore. Because when we first saw her and she went in on Leah Velti, I was like, who the hell is this woman? And then we kind of got her, and that sort of side of her disappeared. Whether it was a case of her settling down and stuff like that.
I would still say she still has that aggressiveness in her, but she doesn't show it.
Yeah, but she doesn't do it on our players anymore.
Sorry, Lottie.
But when she first arrived, that kind of disappeared, because it's new settings, new surroundings.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to this season, different player. Yeah. The aggression is back, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Although I did have a few choice words for her last season. Well, before we got her.
Absolutely. No, that's understandable.
Like Matt did when it came to Leah Velti.
It's a younger midfield than Kim and Leah, obviously, but Kim and Leah give us experience. And I also think back to when we have played well against Chelsea in previous games. I think back to the Conti Cup final. I think back to when we drew 0-0 at Kingsmeadow, one of the best 0-0s I've ever watched. Through my fingers,
One of the worst.
It was awful. I mean, it ultimately cost us the league, but it was quite the contest. Just brilliant. Kim Little won player of the match in both those games. She does up her game for these occasions, and my only fear with those two players, Coco Cross and Victoria Pelova, is they've been brilliant for us at the heart of the midfield. But this Chelsea is a different beast. It's not like playing Brighton and West Ham and Leicester. There are some monsters in that midfield, and do they have the experience not to be swatted aside by them? Would they benefit from a Kim Little or Velti? That's my feeling on that one. But Matt, I'll come to you. I think we can guess who one of your midfielders are going to be. But why don't you tell us who would be your dream?
Number 13.
Assuming we're going to have a pivot or two, who would your two be?
You know what? You haven't even mentioned the goalkeepers before this.
Well, hang on, we'll go get to that.
Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
anyway, midfielders. I think you're going to be a bit surprised by this, but I think Kim Little starts first and foremost because she's captain.
Right.
So then it's a case of who do you want to be partnering her? Who do you think is going to be more beneficial, cutting the lines, or being more of an outlet? It's difficult to say because Cara Cooney-Cross does that quite well. She can get up and down pretty easily. Knows has got a couple of assists. But in this game, I would probably say she has to be on the bench, not because of she's inexperienced, but more because I think it will be one where Jonas will have to tell her sit and watch, see what if there's anything that just keep an eye on everything, and if you see anything when you get on that pitch, make sure that you're doing that. So if she sees that, so for example, Frank Kirby's running it on the right hand side, she might decide, right, okay, I'm going to switch it over to the left hand side, give it more space, and then all of a sudden Caitlin Ford's in behind and she has an opportunity then. Whereas I think Leah Volti gives us more defensive solidarity at the moment. I'd say that's kind of more needed because of Chelsea's attack at the moment. Catherine Cool has had another solid time, but she's not getting that.
I think she's short. I don't think she is ready for a game of this. No offense to Katrine. I think she's an amazing player, amazing talented player. I just think this might be a game too soon for her. But I think she could play in the Conti Cup game against Spurs. I think that would be ideal for her. Just a little tangent on this, because Jonas hasn't often played Kim in the 2. He's often played her in the 10 and maybe played Pelova in the pivot with a Cooney-Cross or a Volti. Do you think we could see maybe Kim if we played, say, Pelova and Cooney-Cross as a pair, could we see Kim maybe in the 10 instead?
That depends on Viv's only getting small minutes at the moment, isn't she? So there is that spot open, but then you look at
Frida.
Frida, who's been on fire at the moment. You're going to remind me now how many goals she scored in consecutive games now, aren't you? I think it's about 2 or 3.
She scored a few.
Yeah, she's looking like a normal self, like the back from last season. Like there's none of this. She's gotten the Hengarisa monkey off her back.
Yeah. I think there was a case of the potential that there was a confusion of how she would work with Russo. And I think one of the things that was suggested, I think that maybe it was in the West Ham, either West Ham game maybe or the Brighton game, that Russo would come deep and Frida would maybe go past her and become almost like a striker, and you could have maybe that way of because Russo likes to come deep, as we know, and maybe you can that's how you would play off Frida. I think there's a case for Kim at 10. We know what she's like on the ball, her pressing, with her ball retention. She can turn and twist her way out of anything, and she's going to be pressed by those Chelsea players. And she's obviously our captain and has experience. So again, this is we've got too many great players to fit into one team, but it means we have great options on the bench. Unfortunately, we can't sub every player on. As you mentioned, Matt, there were goalkeepers. Just want to go quick. It's one or the other. I think Manu's going to start. Lottie, is there a case for Sabs, or do you reckon it'd be Manu again?
It's got to be Manu. I don't think Sabrina's ready for a game of this magnitude again.
No.
No disrespect to Sabrina. I absolutely adore her after what she did against Man City, last season. But
no, Manu.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Quick one, Manu, Sabs. And then
I would.
I
Every time I suggest we swap goalkeepers, it doesn't happen. So I would like to see Sabrina in goal, because the amount of times that Chelsea are going to put long crosses into the box, and everything, Sabrina's made for that. I mean, we saw last season, we thought Katrine Berger was going to go in goal for Chelsea. Turns out it was going to be Musovic.
Did rather well.
So I have a feeling that Musovic's going to start in goal for Chelsea, but I think we're going to stick with Manu, unfortunately.
I feel kind of sorry for Sabs, because obviously the one game she's played in the WSL was that game at Man United, and she had that awful error with the clearance.
She played against City
at Spurs as well. She was in goal at Spurs because we were discussing the pitch. And Beth England took the penalty, and I said,
this season. Sorry, this season.
Oh, this season, she's had one game. Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant like first.
No, because she played at home Man City as well in the league. But it was the idea that we'd use Manu or Sabs depending on the situation. But it feels like Jonas has sort of defaulted onto Manu. And Sabs has only had one game, which was the Man United game, and she had that error, and she's only played the Conti Cup games. And I would like to see Sabs start a bit more, but I think he's going to again default on experience. Manu's played in these games before, knows how these will go, and I think that will just edge it. Last bit point is obviously the attack. So many options. I mean, we've got options coming out of our ears here. It's amazing, but it's almost impossible to pick. So we had a bit of a mini discussion on the 10, but I want to focus sort of on the front three. I think we could probably have a good stab at who our right winger will be. But I want to see, who are you going to pick for your lead striker and left winger first? Well, all three. What are your front three going to be? Matt, I'll come to you first. Who's your dream front three?
I thought you were going to go Lottie first.
No.
I'm glad. Thank you. I hate this.
I think it's going to. I think the logical one would be that Stina starts this one.
Okay.
Because she's been on fire. She's been very good coming on, scoring the goals and showing how it can be. I think that with Emma Hayes watching the Lionesses as well, she's going to be extra prepared for Alessia. She knows her inside and out pretty much.
Alessia used to play for Emma Hayes back in the day.
So I would imagine it would make more sense to bring Stina on and then Alessia be that impact sub.
Okay.
But I just think because of the way the season's gone so far, it's always been Alessia's starting, shiny new toy. She goes up front first. Stina, you're coming on 60th minute.
She has been a good option off the bench, though. I mean, it worked wonders against Man City. When you're under the cosh and you need somebody to aim for, or running behind, Stina can do that. I mean, it helps when the keeper runs into no man's land and loses track of the ball. But it is an option. I do take your point, though. Stina's obviously led the line and did very well in the Conti Cup final when she had that role. If that's a striker, who your wing is going to be?
I think it's going to be Mido. Mido's going to start.
Makes sense.
Then it doesn't make sense at the moment because of Katie McCabe. I have a feeling that it's going to be Caitlin Ford playing on that left. So, no offense to Chloe or anything like that. I think Chloe, well, with the amount of players, what we said that they could come on, then
I mean, Mead off the bench is an amazing position. Yeah, if you wanted to play it the other way around, having Mead off the bench is brilliant. Worked for England against the Netherlands, but we know that there's something about Chelsea that Mido likes this game. We know this. I dropped a tweet out the other day because
she's one of the top
Chelsea
goal scorers, isn't she, in this fixture?
Chelsea
in
have
our
this
current squads.
Chelsea have this idea that Mido is somehow not a threat to them. History would state otherwise. Even at Sunderland, she's got a hat trick against it for Sunderland. I mean, for some reason, as much as I hate this fixture, I think Beth Mead is the only one who actually likes it because she always seems to contribute in some way. So
and Viv.
And Viv. I think Viv will be on the bench. I mean, that'll be fair, I think, but she'll be a great bench option. And I do agree. I think Ford will start. And again, I feel sorry for Lacasse because Lacasse has been brilliant. I think you could make a case for her to start on the right if it wasn't for the fact of Mead's history in this fixture. But Lottie, I'll finish on this bit with you. Who is your front three, given our options?
All right, going from left to right, Caitlin Ford,
Mhm.
up top, Dina Blackstenius, and Chloe Lacasse. I just feel like, as much as I love Mead, I adore her to bits. Her coming off the bench is an option for me at this point. Again, prime example, England vs the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That and her eagerness for this fixture, it will give us that boost we need. Whereas I think Chloe coming off the bench, it won't mean as much as it would to Mead as she comes off.
There's definitely a psychological boost because you hear it in the crowd because of all the players in the team. I remember with the Villa game, all the players would want. There's only one player that gets a roar from the crowd when they want, and that's Beth Mead.
Yeah,
and there was,
exactly.
And we had it at the Netherlands when she was warming up in the Netherlands. There was a roar when she was running around. There was a roar when she came on the pitch. She has captured
that's the 12th man game changer for me. And I just think also Chloe Lacasse is one of those wild cards that the Chelsea defence without Millie Bright haven't dealt with before.
That is true.
And that excites me.
And you were saying
especially
that about
with how she's been playing. I mean, you look at the goal against Man United.
Well, there is that. And I should say with Man United, you were saying about back three, back five. Lacasse could be a right wing back option. Apparently, she's played there before. So I think it's unfair. I think Lacasse maybe deserves to play in the game. I'd like the idea of me coming off the bench, but I'm in Jonas's mind. I think he'll start Mead. I think it's interesting. Neither of you have gone for Russo as a lead striker. Could she potentially be the?
I would actually. I'm going to do this a bit randomly. I'd actually put her in the 10 and bring Frida on later.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Could you see having a? Well, you've obviously said it, but I'll say it to Matt. This is what I was going to get to. Could it be we'll have a twin striker situation with a Russo 10, Stina 9, like we saw away at Brighton?
I like the idea of that. I know Frida's on fire, but you can always take Leslie Russo off. No player is. I don't know how to put it. Is not
indispensable.
Yeah, indispensable by rotation. Because as much as we all love seeing Leslie play, there's also a point of you need to give her a rest.
Yeah,
because she's on 90 minutes for England solidly all the time.
I mean, she came off the bench. Well, she came off the bench in the last two internationals, and to be fair, against the Netherlands, she was a really good option.
Normally she's the starter. She starts every time. So,
well, this is I'm going to get to. She came off the bench against Netherlands, was great, and actually was crucial in the build to the winning goal. But against Scotland, she didn't really do much. In fairness, most of the team didn't do much, but she didn't really have the impact she did in the previous game. And we saw against Belgium. I mean, Jonas has gone on record to say she's one of the best finishers. We've got a really good finisher, but unfortunately, her finishing boots were absent in those Belgian games. One of the many reasons, as if you listen to the pod, you'll find out. We fell short in that aspect. Moving away from Arsenal and over to the team that must not be named. Of all the players that they're going to play, and they've got a whole catalogue of talent there. Let's be honest. As much as for gritted teeth, who's the one player you fear the most?
Is that even a question?
Just who's the one
it's Sam Kerr. Let's be serious. She's the greatest striker in the world.
Sam Kerr.
She always seems to get the better of Lottie, and that worries me.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, but I think the only Chelsea player I'm looking forward to seeing is Kadisha Buchanan, and whether she slips up again.
Well, there is that. There is that silver lining.
The only Chelsea player I want to see.
Away from Sam Kerr, though, I'll come to this, Matt, because that's an easy option. Of all the players, well, it is. I mean, we all know Sam Kerr because she keeps scoring against us. But I think there are a few players.
She gets a goal without fail, though. Am I right?
I think there are a few players that maybe we should be aware of, and it's not just Sam Kerr. And I was going to come, Matt. Is there any there? I've got one, and I want to see if any of you mention it first. So.
Yeah, going back on it, well, obviously people are going to say Guru Rice, but for whatever reason, every time I see her, it's just she gives like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I went to Everton versus Chelsea, and nothing really. You could probably say Frank Kirby, same again. It seems to be at the moment she's not giving 100%. She's only getting 80, 90. But then again, this sort of game, she'll probably step up. I actually go back to the Conti Cup. I actually rewatched it. I think it was a couple of days afterwards, and it was Leopold's that hit the crossbar, and
Yeah.
it
was like a looping cross that was sort of miscue. Yeah.
It does make you think that there's more to her that meets the eye because she plays in a defensive role. So I'd probably say Leopold's on that.
So neither of you went for my option, which was Aggie Beaver-Jones.
Ooh, I just thought you were going to go for Lauren James.
Well, she's the obvious one.
She's looking good at the moment.
Lauren James looking very talented, but I think Aggie Beaver-Jones, Matt, you think she was alone at Everton, wasn't she, last season?
She was, yes.
And crunched Leah Velti's ankle, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah, she did.
Unfortunately.
So Aggie Beaver-Jones has scored
she got sent off for that, didn't she?
Yeah.
She did she? Yeah. Oh, I couldn't remember. I thought she would have got booked.
Sorry, the only thing I remember about that game is the aftermath of the social media and that crunch.
Yeah. Aggie Beaver-Jones has scored in her last 5 WSL matches. I think she is a player that is on form, and I think she's a youth product with Chelsea, I think. She will want to make her mark on this game, I have no doubt. And I think, as you rightly say, Lottie, the focus is on Sam Kerr because she is a star striker. Will she start? Will she be on the bench? And I think it'll be ill-advised of us to focus against that and not look at there are some hazards there, and likewise Arsenal. There are some hazards in that team that could slip up on, and I think Aggie Beaver-Jones is definitely one of the main players to look out for, and Lauren James. I know sometimes with some getting in the Conti Cup final, she blew quite cold. In the England game,
especially in the Emirates game, she was hitting everything wide and over.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wonder if the pressure gets to her in this game. But I'm also wondering if she'll be starting to get used to the bigger crowds. So I think that's what kind of unsettled her the last few times. But obviously, where she's been playing for England, that's given her the more experience because you don't get 58,000 people at a Chelsea game. You just don't.
No, not yet.
Not that Stamford Bridge has that many seats, and they play there very often. But Kings Meadow it's very, very different. So it will be although she's sort of a breakthrough star, it's a lot of pressure for her. I feel sometimes. But we'll see.
We'll see. I think with Lauren James, she's one of those players that could go 15 minutes missing shots left, right, and centre, and then she'll click and she'll hit a 25-yard on the top corner. She's just got that moment where she can it just clicks and she's in and she does something brilliant. I mean, I look back to the Scotland.
One opportunity. That's it.
Look at the Scotland game, just sort of on the fringe, and then boom, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and suddenly she's alive and she's pinging crosses, and that is it. That's the worry. It's not the 85 minutes where she's quiet. It's that 5-minute spell where she's red hot and tears you to pieces, and
it just makes you wonder. Sorry, Adam, I know you're on a bit of a roll, but when you give these players so much space and yards, that's when it happens. You look at Tottenham. Caitlin Ford does it all the time against Tottenham. So you can't, as a defensive coach, you kind of have to look at this and go, as soon as you see Lauren James on the ball, make sure you're putting as much pressure on her as possible. You don't want to give her an inch because she'll turn that into a yard.
Absolutely, because that inexperience will kick in.
If she's on the left,
panic.
If Lauren James is on the left, that's one bit hesitant having Katie McCabe on the right as a right back, because I think Katie McCabe might start. She'll have the aggression and the press. But it's whether, because she's wrong-footed, she'll be looking to come into the midfield. Is that basically going to leave a huge gaping hole in our? And then because Lauren James will happily sprint into that. So, this is the thing. We've got a lot of talent. We've got a lot of options. Serve Chelsea, and my fear is it could be a cat and mouse game, which I'll be happy with. But it could as well. I just have nightmares of that game when we lost 4-1, and that just killed off Joe Montemurro, bless him. So we'll see what happens. We're coming towards the end, so we're going to finish off with some score predictions. See how inaccurate we are. I've got mine, and it probably will be popular, so I'll leave it to last. So, Lottie, I can see in your face that you really want to share a scoreline idea by nodding of your head.
I really, really, really don't. I was about to swear then.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to. It's fine. We try to keep it PG, but it doesn't always work for me. 3-2 Arsenal.
3-2 Arsenal. Okay.
I've been going 3-2 all season. So
I know. You keep playing that. You keep playing that card, and eventually it's going to cash in.
I know, but the thing is, I know that if Sam Kerr's gets on that pitch, it's going in the net. And it
Mm.
takes 60 seconds for Lauren James to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's
Chelsea are our team now.
Yeah.
It's all about the individual moments, and they cash. It's all about get the ball to the forwards as quick as possible, and individual brilliance will get them the goals. And they've got some of the best forwards in the world, and that's how many days on it. It's 5 at the back, ultra defensive. I mean, if they take the lead, they go into lockdown. We've seen that.
They haven't got the wall. So it's going to be interesting to see how they cope, because without the wall, Kadisha Buchanan,
Well, we'll
she was
see.
a bit lost to
we'll
me.
see.
I like, no disrespect to her, but
Yeah.
I feel like she's a bit lost without Millie Bright, if I'm honest with you. I know I call her the wall, but she's just absolutely solid for England.
But when we have
absolutely adore her. But
when we have Bright and Leah Williamson in defence, that is a
Dream
brick
team.
wall. Absolutely. Hopefully,
great wall of London.
absolutely. Matt, I'll come to you. Any score predictions?
I keep on playing the 2-1 card.
Are you just going to do this for the whole season? Are you just going to keep saying 2-1, 3-2?
I'm waiting for it to eventually come to light. I think
It did against Man City. It did. Or did you not predict it that time one time?
I don't think I did. I think I predicted 3-1 or something like that. So
Oh,
I think my closest one was, what was that game, Adam? I think I was a goal out for Arsenal. It was 4-2 or something like that. So I was close, but not close enough. I think it was. Who did we beat 4-2 this season?
We beat Leicester 6-2. But other than that, we haven't.
Yeah, I think it might have been that game, not 4-2, 6-2.
Okay,
no, because you predicted near enough 6-0 or something like that, didn't you, Adam? Right. So you got that kind of right.
Half right, yeah.
Between me and Adam, we're half right.
Yeah,
so you're going 2-1.
I'll go 2-1. But I hope it's not like Villa, where it's like a last-minute winner.
No, exactly. I mean, I was thinking of draws, and I was thinking like psychologically with draw, like the draw last season felt like a defeat when it was the last-minute equaliser. But if we got a last-minute equaliser, then it would feel like same result, but it would feel like a win.
Glorious.
It'd be glorious.
Jonas running down the other end of the pitch. And...
Just, I should say, and I'm going to, and this,
and if it comes from Lotta, we're on the pitch.
Absolutely. Now, after what I'm about to say, I can confirm this will be my last Vic Akers Wonderland podcast, because Lottie will murder me and not have me back on. I should say a little thing. Emma Hayes has never won at Emirates Stadium. Just going to throw it out there. It's in our record. Jonas is, we paid him twice. Well, we paid Chelsea 3 times at Emirates Stadium. So it's been 2 wins and a draw. So it's come a bit of a fortress, which is nice. So based on that logic, based on the fact that obviously we have a very good record at home.
If you're not going to say what you're going to say,
I'm predicting.
Oh my God!
No.
And that was rather fitting.
Sorry, that was my power, everybody. Like, for the audio listeners, I do apologise. My electric's just gone again. The wind is very bad outside, and I've got no street lights outside, but I have got electric in my house.
I'm predicting.
This is creepy.
A 3-0 win to Chelsea, and I'm playing the odds, because I know if we lose, I'm right, and if I'm wrong, we win. So either way, I'm a winner. So I'm playing both hands, which means, of course, it will finish in a draw, and I will be completely wrong.
There's me thinking you were going to predict a loss for us. Okay,
I am.
Don't worry, guys. He lives to present another day. We're good.
I'm predicting a 3-0 loss to Chelsea. I'm playing both cards.
Oof.
So
someone's asking to be the bloody
so
if you'd like
host for the next 3 months
and on that
as a punishment, then me and Matt are just going to chill out, and you can host every single show.
If you want to be a co-presenter / host on the Vic Akers Wonderland podcast, why not write to us at VAW Pod? Because I won't be here.
On Twitter.
And on Twitter. And on that bombshell, as they say, it is time to end the preview. I am absolutely bricking it. I think most of us are, but it's going to be a magic special occasion, because win or lose, it looks like we're going to break an attendance record. We're going to be pushing the women's game even further, and I just hope it's a really good competitive game. I hope plenty of goals from us. I hope for the win. As much as I'm betting against my own hand. I hope for the win. I hope that the team pull through, because if we do win, it's level on points. We have one more game, and it's a Christmas break, and then I think if we do win, the title race is on. And it looked like, and that will be a very, very special occasion. But before we go, just a quick chance for Matt and Lottie to tell us all where they can find them in that scary wild west of social media. So, Matt, where can we find you?
You can find me on MattLR28.
Excellent. And Lottie, where can we find you?
Did you just call me Lottie T? Okay.
No, it's a Lottie. Where can we find you?
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm tired. You can find me at Lottie_AWFC Instagram for all my match day photos, even with these two wonderful co-conspirators I have on my screen. There's me trying to be nice. But yeah, as well as Twitter as well. My handles are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said earlier, if you want to follow our Twitter feed on the pod, keep updated with all latest updates and uploads, and at VAW Pod, do give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It's always great to know that people are loving the content we're producing and loving it as much as we are making it, because I think we still do love it, don't we? Yes, we do.
Of course we do, even though sometimes it is occasionally torture.
It is torture, but I can only apologise. If you want
that's the curse of being an Arsenal fan. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
And if you do enjoy this content and for some reason enjoy what I'm doing as well, you can follow me at AdamSalter4. But if you don't, then quite frankly, don't blame you. But that's it. That's the end. We think we've pretty much covered everything. All that remains for us is to go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and make the slow march to Emirates Stadium and pray to all that we can that the win comes our way. It's going to be a heck of an afternoon. As much as I'm resenting it, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to be watching it with my two co-conspirators. It's going to be an amazing afternoon. And as we said earlier, 58,000 tickets sold. If you haven't got a ticket already, please do come along and get one. And let's make this give the team the support they deserve, because quite frankly, they're going to need it. But until then, take care, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. Come on, you Gunners.